Hello everyone, it's Pam here with Tattered Paper and Lace, and as you see I'm still working on this Halloween journal. I've not been able to work on it very much lately, but I have done a few things and I want to share with you the things that I have done, and then I have a little project that I want to use in this journal when I get it done. So let's go over the things that I've added some pages, so I've got all the pages in there that need to happen. But what we have is I think I showed you in the first video or the second video, this paper that I had cut a hole out of a 4-inch circle because I used it in my Marguerite Miller collage. And that left a hole in this paper and I still wanted to use it. So I used the book page from this book to show through, die cut to go around the hole, some die cut flowers to add there, and then I think I said something about this picture and wanted to use it as a tuck spot, which I have done, and I am tucking in what was on the inside front cover of this book, the original book. And then over here I've added this doily because this was just one layer and it's very fragile, so I added the doily to give it a little more heft. And then I added another page that was from this original book, and I just did washi tape around it because the page is very fragile and the edges would tear easily. Then I have done a couple of other things. I made this page, which is from an old book page, and this is see-through. Okay, and I used this from Tracy Fox. I printed that on acetate, framed it on this page. I love the border of this old book page from the early 1900s. And so we have the see-through over here as well with another frame around it. And what I am going to do here is put this, and I'm going to do fabric and stuff behind it. It's the reason that's not on there. So this is a hallway, also from Tracy Fox's Creep on June from 2024. And then you will see this little girl in the hallway, and then there's nothing in the hallway. So that's going to go there. And then I just have added this little acetate printout, and I stamped on this piece of acetate that says condemned, and that's just in that signature. So that's something I have added there. And then here, I just wanted to show you, I have these little acetate pieces that are this size. And I have, if you can see that this was meant to go in some other little book that had slotted rings or something. I just put a piece of fabric on that, sewed that on, and made that be a page in this book. Don't know yet. I do like the fact that this shows through on this side, but I don't know what else I'm going to do with that. And then the last thing I have done is another one of these 1900 book pages with this lovely border. So I did that, and this is an image from a magazine that I put a dryer sheet over to make it look fuzzy and not shiny. And then on this side, I did this ghost on acetate, and the ghost is in the graveyard with, pulled some threads out of a burlap piece, some die cut flowers, just drew my own gravestones here. I'm going to put something in there. I just don't know yet what that's going to be. But this ghost was from the internet, and I printed it out, reduced it, printed it out on acetate, and he is in the graveyard. Now, the project I want to do with you today is, I know everyone has these packages of your baby wipes, but do you save when the baby wipes are done? If you just pull off this opening, and it'll just pull off. It'll just pull off the plastic, and then you can use that as an embellishment. I'll show you another one. You can use that as an embellishment for a page in your journal, cover of your book, or whatever. Here's one that's square, And this is from my makeup remover wipes. And you can just put it, see, it's not very thick, so you can put it inside your journal or on the cover of your journal, and then you have a little window to open up with whatever you want to put inside. So that's what I wanted to do. I had this oval one here, and I wanted that to go right here on this page, and I'm putting it there because if you put it in between the signatures, then you have a little more give room. So that's where I want to put it. This is my problem. I painted it. It was white, and I painted it with black gesso, hoping that it would stick. It was already a little bit not shiny. It was a little bit matte, and I thought maybe it will stick. Well, it does not. As you can see, you can scratch it off with your fingernail. So I thought I'd try something else, and that is decoupaging with a napkin. I did that to this bottle. So this was a bottle that some product came in, and I cleaned off the label and then just covered it with this decoupage napkin on this plastic. I didn't sand it or anything, and it's a little bit matte, and it works well. I've not had any problem. I've even wet the outside of this, and of course I had Liquitex over the top of it as well. And I've even wetted in it. It doesn't have any issues. So I thought I could try going over this with napkin and decoupage. Actually, I use Liquitex Matte Medium, and see if that would keep it from wiping off. So I'm going to use, or scratching off, I'm going to use this black napkin because I want this to be as black as it can be. I do like this little crown design. It fits perfectly on the lid of this. So that's what I'm going to try. And I thought I'd come along here and show you what I'm doing, and we'll see if it works. I won't know until it's dry as to whether it actually works or not, but I'm going to show you how I do it. So this is the same thing I did. Use the same products for that bottle, plus a 1-ply napkin. Take off the 2 extra plies. And I need my little magazine I use to do this sort of thing on, right here. So I'll bring you down so you can see a little bit better what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm not scratching on this, and I did take a black magic marker to go over some of this. This is what will be glued down, so it didn't even need to be painted. And I could do this on another one if this doesn't work, on one of the other ones that I have, but I don't need to worry about this back part. But I want to cover all of this, wrap it around and tuck it inside here. I'm going to use a piece of scrapbooking paper in here, and then I want to cover all of this along the edge here and wrap it around, and I'm going to use a little piece of scrapbooking paper inside there. I have made templates. This is the template for it going in here, I believe. That might need a little bit of adjusting, but that's my template for in there, and then this is my template for in here. And so let's get started on that and see how this goes. See whether this is gonna work. I hope it does because I really like the shape of this, and I don't have another one just like this, but we're gonna see if this will work or not. So I am going to put my Liquitex right over the top of this, and I'm going to put it around the sides because I'm going to wrap this around and over, and hopefully it will work. So I'm going to start like this, and let's see how it goes. So we're fixing to go on a trip, so I have not had much of a chance to work on this journal, and we won't be back until later you know, almost the middle of October. So I don't care if this is a little bit wrinkled. That doesn't matter to me. So we're going to just put this down. I want it to go over the hinge. It doesn't have to go over to the back, but I do want it over the hinge. And we're going to see how this works. See if it works. I don't care if the design doesn't show up very much. I actually didn't get that in the middle because I think I'm going to do something else over it. I'm not sure, but I think I am on the front. And since it's going, I have my paintbrush in my mouth. And since it's going over, the, that tore already right there. Since it's going over black, this design is not going to show very much, and I don't really care if it doesn't show much. Or at all, actually, to be honest. I don't really care if it shows at all. So this is going to be a little bit fiddly, and I've never done this before on this. I just know that I was able to do plastic with that bottle, and it stayed on beautifully. So I thought, well, let me try it with this. I'm going to cut this down because I don't need all of this. And see if we can get it in there. I don't know. May not work. I just thought, oops, yeah, may not work. Well, so far it hasn't worked. Let's try that again. Okay, that piece is trash. Let's try that again. I may not be able to do it except one step at a time, because I may need to let this dry. Let's see, I want this to be like this. So I want this to be like this, and I'm doing it this way so I can get it a little more centered than it was, just in case that does show and I don't put anything over it. So let's do that. Okay, so part of what I didn't need to do is probably not, let's see, this little thing might work, is I don't need to put it on the outside yet. And I don't know if that's going to go in there. I really don't know. I'm not sure that it will. I tried putting a varnish over this also to see if it would stay, if the gesso would not scratch off, and that didn't work either. So I thought we would try it with the, I really want that to go over this right here, because that will be handled when it's opened and closed. But so I don't know. I don't know if this will work or not. Might not. Let's tear that just a little bit. Like that. Oops. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. But I don't think this is going to work, except after this front part's dried. Then I'll have to go and do it in steps. But that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm hoping will work. I don't know yet if it will, but I wanted to show you what I was doing and sort of how I was doing it. And we'll have to get back to you later on how this is working, because I have to wait. I didn't anticipate having to wait. Should have, but I didn't anticipate having to wait for the front side to dry before I could do anything with the rest of it. So that's what I wanted to show you today. I'll give you an update when the time comes. And it's probably going to be after my trip, but maybe not. I'm not able to stop and start to let this dry and then come back, because I use my phone camera and it doesn't let me do that. I wish it would, but I'm not savvy enough to figure it out if it does. I don't think it does, but I'm just not savvy enough to figure that out. Okay, so I'm going to let this dry so that around this hinge, let me go ahead and put a little bit more here because I'm going to need that to come around at least over the hinge part. Okay, so we'll do that like that. And I'm going to have to just let it be over this little tab that helps open and close the door. And I want to roll it over, which I don't know if I can do. I thought that I could, and maybe I can. Let's just see. Maybe that's working better than I thought because I just needed to cut off some. And I'm just going to scrunch it over and in. And then I can cut off any excess that I might need. Let me scoot this down through here. And see if I can get this over into here. Maybe I can. Be very gentle. Have to be very, very gentle with that. And if I can get that to just stick down in there and dry, then I think I'll be able to cut off any parts that I don't need. Okay, I think that's working. So maybe it will work. Let's try this. I don't want it. It's just something you gotta play with to see if it'll work. And then if I can get this in there to stay, then I can go ahead and put some on the outside and let it dry. See, I need that a little bit to be. All right, let's see if this will work. Very gently tuck that in. And then move it over here. I don't mind the little folds that it makes to wrap it around this rounded part. I don't mind that at all. Okay. I got it in there. Let's see if it'll stay. I need to cut it right there. I didn't do it on this side. Right there. So this will go in here and this will fold in there. Okay. I think that might work. We'll see. But that's what it's going to look like if it will work. And then, of course, I'd like to not have to do it all. I wanted it just to be black. But then I'm going to do the inside of this so that this edge gets done. Because I want to get the main parts that will get use. That might come up. So I need to use this. On that. I need to cover that right there too, probably. But I can do that with pieces, I think. Now the bottle was easy to do because it just was a sheet cut the size of the bottle height, just wrapped around, and it worked out fine. As a matter of fact, right here is my overlap. Let's see. Yeah, right here is my overlap. So it was just easy. That was easy to do. It's wrinkledy. Again, I don't care. But that just makes a pretty bottle. Okay, I think we might be okay here. So that's my project. And I wanted to come along and show you what I was doing and what I have done to this journal. And like I said, I hadn't done a whole lot since the last time I was here, but I wanted to show you what I had done. So let me just I just want to tear this part off because I don't really need all of this part. Just want it over the hinge there. Now, okay, I think we might be onto something here. And like I said, I'm going to, did I put it upside? No, I didn't. I'm going to put something, a scrapbook paper on the inside of this. Oops. So this actually should not matter on that inside part. Then I am going to go around and do a little bit of, I should use a smaller brush inside that. Let me get one. Got this little tiny softer brush here that I'm going to run around inside this and hopefully get the napkin to stick. And then I will run it across the top too. So that's what I'm doing. We'll see if it works. If it doesn't work, then this one will be scrubbed and we'll start again on a different one. Okay, let's see. Because this is not wanting to go in right there. Okay, there's two little notches right here that I think is part of the closure. So okay, we'll see what happens there. So I'll do it like that, and then we'll use the bigger brush. And just brush a little bit lightly over the top of this. Just like that. So this is how I did it with the bottle, and it worked great. So we're hoping for the best on this. This is a little more fiddly. And I wouldn't be doing this at all if the gesso would have stuck good to the I don't really know, because I thought it would be, it's like a paint, but you know, gesso, you all know what gesso is, I know. And I thought it would do a little bit better than it did, but it didn't. Okay, so now we'll let this dry and we'll see what happens. So I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. And I'll keep you updated on what this project looks like, and you will see it in the journal if it works, but I will show it to you before then. So see you the next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.